Hello students, welcome to the first lecture on direct and inverse proportions. Okay, so in this lecture what we will be covering is we will be covering various concepts and types of problems that are being asked in various competitive exams. We will be covering concepts and various types of problems, okay, on direct and inverse proportions. So in mathematics, direct and inverse proportions are two important concepts that is used to describe relationship between two variables or two ratios, two variables, and also for two or more ratios. Okay, so you must be thinking, what about the ratios? So in when I say that it is also used to describe the relationship between two ratios, that is whether any kind of similarities is there between the ratios. Okay, whether the ratio of first and second is actually equal to ratio of third is to fourth. Okay, this kind of special kind of relationship between two ratios. Okay, we'll discuss it in detail in the upcoming slides. Okay, so we'll be seeing something like 6 kind of topics inside this direct and inverse proportions, that is direct proportion, inverse proportion, combined proportion, unitary method, rule of 3, percentage. We will see what is direct proportion. Okay, how does it connect two variables, what is inverse proportion, and when we talk about inverse proportion we have to discuss what is the difference between direct proportion and inverse proportion. Okay, what is combined proportion, okay, how is it different from direct proportion, and how it is different from inverse proportion. Okay, we will also see unitary method and the rule of 3. Okay, then we will also see percentages and what is the role of percentages in direct and inverse proportions. Okay, so let's go forward. Okay, so let's see. So when two quantities are directly proportional, it means that one quantity, as one quantity increases, the other quantity also increases in the same ratio. Okay, and as one quantity decreases, the other quantity also decreases in the same ratio. Okay, so we say that if the first quantity is let's say 1 and the second quantity is 2. Okay, so if 1 gets doubled, then if 1 is directly proportional to 2, let's say directly proportional to 2, if 1 becomes 2, that is 1 becomes 1 into 2, right? So it will be 2 into 2 is equal to 4. So 2 will become 4. Okay, so as one quantity increases, the other quantity also increases. So if I increase it from 2 to 4, okay, so what I did was I multiplied again with 2, okay, and I got 4. So then what will happen is 4 will be converted into 4 into 2, that is equal to 8. Okay, so in a similar way we can say that if one quantity decreases by some specific ratio, then the other quantity also decreases by that specific ratio. Okay, let's say again you have 1 and you have 2, right? So let's say 1 becomes 0.5, that is it becomes half. So 1 into 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5. So what will happen is 2 will become 2 into 1 by 2. So what is it equal to? It is equal to 1, right? So what it became is, it became the half of what it was, because 1 became the half of what it was. Okay, it became 0.5. So 2 became 1. It became half of 2, that is 1. Okay, so again if we half it, that is 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, that is equal to 1.5, that is 0.25, right? Then what will happen to this? So 1 by 2 will again multiplied with 1, so that will be 1 by 2, so that is equal to 0.5. Okay, you can see this again got halved because this one get halved. Okay, so let's take another example. Okay, so let's see, if you have a and b. Okay, we are taking some abstract constant quantities. Okay, so let's say a became a by 3. So what will become to b? So b will become b by 3. Okay, a became a by 3, so b will become b by 3. So if a became again a by 6, that is a by 3 was actually multiplied by 1 by 2. So what will happen is, it will again become b by 3 will be multiplied with 1 by 2, that will become b by 6. Okay, this is something that will happen. Okay, if this kind of relationship is being followed by two quantities, that is a and b, two numbers, then we say that they are directly proportional. Okay, so let's discuss the case about the ratios. Okay, let's say if you have A is to B is directly proportional to C is to D. Let's say you have something like this kind of relationship between two ratios. Okay, so if A increases at specific ratio, this implies C also increases in that specific ratio. Okay, so let's take an example here. Okay, so if 2 is to 3 is directly proportional to 4 is to 5, let's say. Okay, or for another example sake, let it be 6 is to 7. Okay, then if 2 multiplied by 2, that is 4 is to 3, so 2 is to 3 became 4 is to 3, then 6 will become double, that is 12 is to 7. Okay, 6 will also get doubled. Okay, and if 3 gets halved, that is 1.5, then also 7 will be halved, that is what, 3.7, 3.5, right? So this kind of relationship will be followed by two ratios, okay, in terms of direct proportion. Okay, so we have discussed the case for the direct proportion between two numbers. We took an example of 1 by 2 and then we doubled it and then doubled it, and we saw that 2 also got doubled and then it also again get doubled. Okay, so it followed that exact specific ratio that 1 was following. Okay, 1 gets doubled, then 2 gets doubled. Like that, if A gets what, 1 by third, then B will also get 1 by third because they are directly proportional. Okay, so let's see the second case about inversely proportional. So mathematically, if two quantities x and y are directly proportional, their ratio remains constant. So if x and y are directly proportional, then they are actually equal to some constant. Okay, so this needs to be remembered. Okay, so k is the constant of proportionality. So let's see. So direct proportional. So in general, the formula for directly proportional is x is equal to ky. So if x is directly proportional to y, we say that x is equal to ky for some constant k, that is called the constant of proportionality. Okay, so you need to remember the naming scheme here. This is called the constant of proportionality. If x is directly proportional to y, then we can write x is equal to ky, where k is some constant, and that constant is actually called the constant of proportionality. Okay, so if x1, y1, x2, y2 are four quantities that are directly proportional, then x1 by x2 is equal to y1 by y2. Okay, so if four quantities that are directly proportional, then x1 by x2 is equal to y1 by y2. We can also write this as x1 is to x2 is directly proportional to y1 by y2, that is y1 is to y2. Okay, we can also write this. So direct proportion. So for example, if the speed of a vehicle is directly proportional to the distance it travels, by doubling the distance will result in doubling the speed. Okay, we know that the speed distance formula, that is speed is equal to distance upon time, right? So if a vehicle goes for a speed of 30 km/h, so let the distance be what, 60, and hour be 2 hours. Okay, so if we double the speed, okay, so if 30 becomes 60, right, what will 60 become? 60, that is in the numerator, that is the distance. So distance will become 120, right? 120 by 2. Okay, so since this got doubled, this thing got doubled because speed is directly proportional to distance. Okay, and the constant of proportionality is 1 by t here. Okay, that is actually if t is constant. Okay, so the proportionality constant is 1 by t here. Okay, or constant of proportionality. So let's go further. And also you can see here that if 30 becomes what, 15, let's say the speed becomes 15 km/h, what does the distance become? Okay, so this distance became half. Okay, when 2 hr, so this is 30. Okay, so you saw, if I half the speed, then the distance became 1 by 2 because the distance and speed are directly proportional with the proportionality constant as 1 by t. Okay, so we have tested this example and verified it. So let's see the next concept, that is inverse proportion. Okay, so in contrast, when two quantities are inversely proportional, that means as one increases, the other one decreases with the same ratio. Okay, and vice versa. If the first one decreases, then the second one increases in the same ratio that first one decreases. Then we say that the two quantities are inversely proportional. Okay, so if you have two numbers, let's say 1 and 7. Okay, so if 1 becomes double, so 1 into 2 is equal to what? 2. Then 7 becomes 7 by 2. So 1 by 2 is actually multiplied with 7 is equal to 7 by 2. So this kind of ratio, this kind of relationship being is followed, then it is called what? Inverse proportion. So if you have an abstract number a and b and say that a is inversely proportional to b. So if a becomes double, so if a becomes 2a, then b becomes b by 2. Okay, and if what? A becomes 2a by 3. Sorry, 2a becomes 2a by 3. Then what b by 2 becomes is 3 into b by 2. That is equal to 3b by 2. So this kind of relationship will be followed if the two quantities are related by inverse proportion. Okay, so inverse proportion means this kind of relationship. As one increases, the other one decreases. Okay, here you saw 2 increased to 1 is increased to 2, and then you saw what? 7 decreases to 7 by 2. So here in terms of abstract terms, what you saw was a became 2a and b became b by 2. And again, when 2a became 2a by 3, b by 2 became 3b by 2. Okay, so this kind of relationship is being maintained in inverse proportion. So mathematically, if two quantities like x and y are inversely proportional, okay, if they are inversely proportional, then their product remains constant. Okay, so if xy is equal to k, where k is the constant of proportionality, then the general formula for the inverse proportion is xy is equal to k. Okay, where k is the constant of proportionality. So the general formula for the inverse proportion is xy is equal to k, where k is the constant of proportionality. Okay, so we can also write that x is equal to k by y. So this kind of relationship between them is being followed. Okay, so if alpha is inversely proportional to beta, we can actually write this as alpha is directly proportional to 1 by beta. We can also write this. Okay, because if let's say alpha is directly proportional to 1 by beta, or we say alpha is inversely proportional to beta, then what does this mean? There exists a k such that alpha is actually directly is equal to some what? K by beta, right? And here, if alpha is directly proportional to 1 by beta, what we can say? There exists a k such that alpha is equal to k by beta, right? So these two are same. So since the right hand side of both are same, so we can write any one of these two. Okay, so I prefer to write this one as this. Okay, alpha is directly proportional to 1 by beta. If I mean to say alpha is actually inversely proportional to beta. So we'll be seeing more examples on this so that there is no confusion regarding the terminology and the representation. Okay, so if x1, y1, x2, y2 are four quantities that are inversely proportional. Okay, so x1, y1, x2 and y2 are four quantities that are actually inversely proportional. Then x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2. Okay, so if these quantities are inversely proportional, then x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2. Okay, so let's see for an example. Okay, so the time taken to complete a job is inversely proportional to the number of workers employed. So if more workers are employed, the time taken to finish the job decreases. Okay, so you have a job to do. Okay, 4 workers finish it in 1 day. Okay, so 2 workers finish it in how many days? Okay, they finish it in 2 days. So how I got to know? Because the number of workers are inversely proportional to the number of days. So I can write it as 4 into 1 is equal to 2 into x. If I don't know how many days will it take, so this implies that x is equal to what? 4 by 2 is equal to 2. So x is equal to 2. This is how I got to know that 2 workers will take 2 days to know. So I used this formula right here. Okay. So here you can see a job is inversely proportional to the completion of a job is inversely proportional to the number of workers employed. So if more workers are employed, the time taken to finish the job decreases. When we gave 4 workers to finish that job, it was finished in 1 day. But when we decreased the number of workers, the number of days it took to complete the work increased. Okay. So let's see the third kind of concept, that is the combined proportion. Okay. So in some cases, quantities may be related through a combination of direct and inverse proportion. Okay. So you have some quantities that are actually connected via both direct and inverse proportion. So whenever you have both these concepts involved in one case, that is direct and inverse proportion, then you say that this concept is called combined proportion, or that kind of proportion is called combined proportion. So for example, x and y are related as x by y is equal to k1. So x is equal to k1y. X is directly proportional to y. I can write this and this. Okay. And y and z are actually related as y by z is equal to k2. Okay. So this implies that y is equal to k2z. So y is directly proportional to z. I can write this as this. And then x by z is equal to k1 into k2. Okay. So x is equal to some k3, that is equal to k1 into k2 z. So x is actually directly proportional to z. Okay. So here, since 3 kind of relationship were performed, although all were direct, but if one of them would have become indirect or inverse, then we would have said this as combined proportion. Although this one can also be called as combined proportion problem. So let's see the fourth kind of concept, that is the unitary method. What is unitary method? So in direct proportion, the unitary method states that the quantity of one variable increases or decreases in the same ratio as the other variable. Okay. So in direct proportion, the unitary method states that, okay, we are talking about direct proportion. Okay. So the unitary method states that the quantity of one variable increases, okay, or decreases in the same ratio as the other variable. So if A is directly proportional to B, let's say, so the ratio in which A being changed, so A becomes A dash, let's say. So the ratio is R1, let's say. Then the same ratio is beta dash. So beta and beta dash follow the same ratio. Okay. That is A by A dash is actually equal to B by B dash. That is the new change in B. And this is A dash is the new change in A. Okay. The ratio will be same. So let's see what is the rule of 3. So the rule of 3 is a practical application of direct and inverse proportion. Okay. So rule of 3 is nothing but a practical application of direct and inverse proportion. So a thing to be noted here is we are talking about both direct and indirect proportion. So it helps to find the fourth proportional or the mean proportional when 3 quantities are given. Okay. So basically, for example, if 3 pencils cost $6, okay, how much do 5 pencils cost? Okay. If 3 pencils cost $6, okay, then how much do 5 pencils cost? Okay, so using the rule of 3, what we can figure out is, so what 3 by 6 is actually equal to 5 by x. So this implies that x is equal to what? 5 into 6 by 3. So 3 into 2 is equal to 10. So x is equal to 10. So solving for x, we got x is equal to 10. So 5 pencil will cost what? $10. Okay, so $10 will be the right and correct answer. So this is what the rule of 3 tells us, that it helps to find out the fourth proportional or the mean proportional where 3 quantities are given. So here 3 quantities were given to us and we wanted to calculate the fourth proportion. Okay, and that's why we use the rule of 3. So let's see percentages. So percentages are often involved in direct and inverse proportion. Okay, so for example, if the price of an item is reduced by a certain percentage, then the new price is directly related to the original price, right? So let's see what kind of questions are being asked on various competitive exams regarding the topic direct and inverse proportion. So there are basically 10 types of questions. Okay, 10 types. So the first type is direct inverse proportion, direct proportion problems, and the second one is inverse proportion problem. We will also see what is the difference between these two, and we will see combined proportion problems, percentages and proportion, and unitary method problems. Okay, we will also see the rule of three method problems. Okay, so rule of three method problems, applications in geometry, and currency conversion, how direct and inverse proportions are used in currency conversions, mixtures and solutions. Okay, and business finance problems. Okay, so these are basic kind of problems in which direct and inverse proportions concepts are being used regularly or very often. Okay, so let's see the first kind of question. So solving word problems involving direct proportions such that distance time problems, speed time problems. Okay, so like I took an example, if a car travels at 30 km per hour, okay, and its distance is something, let's say 60 km, that it needs to be covering. So how much time will it take? It will take 2 hours, right? So if 30 km becomes 15 km, okay, how is speed related to distance? So speed is directly proportional to distance with a proportionality constant 1 by 2 here. Okay, so speed is directly proportional to distance, and speed is inversely proportional to time. Okay, if you could see, as speed is equal to distance by time, so this implies that speed is directly proportional to distance and speed is inversely proportional to time. Okay, so let's see a problem. So if 4 workers can complete a construction project in 12 days, so here what is given is 4 workers. Okay, and what they do is they complete a construction project in 12 days. Okay, so how many days will it take for 6 workers to complete the same project? Okay, how many days will it take for 6 workers to complete that same construction project? Okay, that same project. So how will we do? So we already knew that 4 into 12 must be equal to 6 into x. X is the number of days here. So their product must be same. Okay, we knew from the product rule there. So 12 into 4 is equal to 48 is equal to 6 into x. So this implies that x is equal to what? 48 by 6 is equal to 8. So x is equal to this. So x is equal to 8 imply 8 days will it take. Okay, it will take to complete the task. Okay, so 8 days it will take to complete that task. Okay, so let's see a step-by-step solution. So let d be the number of days required for 6 workers to complete that project. So according to directly proportion, what? The number of days is inversely proportional to number of workers, right? So as the number of days increase, the number of worker decrease. So if the number of worker decrease, the number of days increase. So 12 into 4 is equal to what? D into 16. That is the number of days into 6. So 48 is equal to 60. So what we did was we algebraic calculated amount of d. So d is nothing but 48 by 6. So 48 by 6 is nothing but 8, right? So 8 will be the answer. Therefore, it will take only 8 days for 6 workers to complete that same project. Okay, that was being completed in 12 days by 4 workers. Okay, so let's see the second type of questions, that is inverse proportion problems. So solving word problems involving inverse proportion such that work time problem, time and worker problem, etc. So let's see, if 6 workers can complete a project in 8 days, so how many days will it take for 12 workers to complete the same project? Okay, this is a similar kind of problem that we have previously seen. So what will we do? So 6 into 8 is actually equal to 12 into x, right? So this implies that x is equal to what? 6 into 8 by 12. So this will be what? 2, 4. 2 is equal to 4. So 4 days it will take for 12 workers to complete the project. Okay, here you can see that number of worker inversely proportional to number of days. Okay, so if number of worker increases, number of day decreases. If number of day increases, number of worker decreases. Okay, they are related to each other in this way. Okay, the ratio in which one change in one affects the other here is called inverse proportion. Okay, so let's see again. So let D be the number of days that is required for 12 workers to complete that project. We assume here D. Okay, then what we do is we convert this to a algebraic problem. We convert this word problem to an algebraic problem and then we solve it, okay, mathematically. So that seems way much easier. So according to inverse proportion, the number of days is inversely proportional to the number of workers. So number of days into number of workers is equal to constant. So 8 into 6 is equal to D into 12. So 12D is equal to 48. Again D is equal to what? 48 by 12. That is nothing but 4, because 12 into 4 is equal to 48. So therefore it will take 4 days and 12 workers to complete that same project. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you.